I'm back, and as I had promised, it is with a language video. And I thought that let me take the newest baby in the question paper, which is the proposal writing to be. Yes, and that is worth 10 marks. And I've seen that if you spend roughly 15 minutes on it, 15 to 20 minutes, you can do justice to the question because it's very precise, to the point, and it has a set format which you need to follow once you know it, right? So I've taken a question from one of the ISC papers, ISC main paper or sample paper, one of them, right? As a member of the Students' Council, you wish to start an old clothes collection drive. These clothes are to be donated to an orphanage close by. So write a proposal to the principal of your school. Uh, how best you can make this a success, right? So that he grants it, he or she grants it. So it should be roughly 150 words. Now, the first thing that you do for any kind of written work is to write a title. And your title has to be taken directly from the question. So what is the proposal about? Proposal for an old clothes collection drive. That's it, period. Nothing more. Be very careful of the format, capital letters of each word. The first word is in caps, the rest all in running. So, proposal for an old clothes collection drive. Right? Underline it. Then come to the next important part, which is the introduction. Put a colon. Introducing what the proposal is all about. So, there are two factors to the proposal, one is the student council and one is the orphanage. That has to be mentioned. So, you mention to initiate a student led activity and to support the orphanage close to the school, we propose to start an old clothes collection drive. Very simple, to the point. To initiate a student led activity to support the orphanage close at hand. Student, the focus is there, and the orphanage focus, both are there. So it's very clear to the principal who is going to do it and for whom. That's it. Who is going to do it and for whom should be the introduction. Why are you going to do it is the objective. Be careful who you're doing it for and who is doing it, for whom, and who is your introduction. Why you're doing it is your objective. Clear? Okay. Objective again, 2 points. Why for the students and why for the orphanage. So, an old clothes collection drive will instill in the students a sense of hands on service activity. That is why for the students. Okay. And why for the orphanage? A successful drive will also benefit the orphanage lacking in adequate funds. They don't have funds, so give them clothes, at least they are safe. So, why has been answered. 2 sentences. Clear? Right. Then you come to the nitty gritties of the drive. So the main points have to be written here, which are called the list of measures. These terminologies cannot change. Just to remind you, introduction, you could also write heading. That word could, but don't write both heading or introduction, colon, objectives, colon, point. Then you come to the list of measures. The list of measures should be 4 points at least, not less than 4 or 5, whichever best suits your answer. So, first point is a group SMS from the school will be sent out to parents to inform them about the drive. Naturally, because clothes have to come, parents have to be aware of it. And I've written a group SMS because ever since the pandemic, schools are sending group SMS to parents. If your school does not believe in it, you can write a notice from the school will be sent out to the parents, right, to inform them. That's the first step. Now, the second step is the drive will run for a week beginning the first of the month. So, when will it take place? From the first of the month. You could be more precise in this. The drive will run for a week beginning 15th of February till the 19th of February. You could make it clear. Monday through to Friday, whatever it is. But when, right? Clear? Second, who is going to do it? Student council members along with class monitors will collect all the clothes. That's it. Here, of course, like I'm just thinking aloud, you could write Also the time. So student council members along with class monitors will collect all the clothes during the break, or if you have a zero period concept in your school, during the zero period every day. You could be very precise about that as well. So exactly, the whole school is not, there's a pandemonium. No, there's no chaos in the school. Student council members along with monitors will be coming collecting them, or then you can write during the break or during the zero period to make it very precise. Got it? 3 points. Okay, now I turn the page. Then you have the next is that was 3 points there. Then the fourth point, all collected clothes will be stored in the activity room on the ground floor, which is vacant for the term. So you see, your planning is to the T. No questions to be asked. Remember, when you're giving a proposal, you've planned it so well that you've not left any loopholes. The basic plan. I'm not talking of little nitty gritties. We'll differentiate between woolens, cottons. No, no, no. Basic plan is in place. After that, there could be a few oral questions, but most of the proposal will be passed. So all collected clothes will be stored. Where will it be kept? In the activity room. And finally, on the Saturday following the collection, the members of the student council will arrange for the clothes to be handed over to the authorities at the orphanage. So the responsibility of the student council to hand over is also done. So the entire proposal from the beginning to the end, how it will be conducted, has been given. Right? 4 to 5 points. Then you must have a concluding sentence, which is, we sincerely hope that our proposal is accepted and our community service endeavor is a success. Just a concluding sentence to finish the proposal. You should keep it simple, whichever question it is. We sincerely hope that a proposal is accepted and our school fair will take place successfully. We sincerely hope that a proposal is accepted and the science club will start off at the given time. So it's exactly what the question is, you must write it. And then at the end, to the in the corner at the side, you write your name and member student council, whatever, just the initials, member student council. That is your proposal. Format is very important. Title, heading or introduction, objectives, measures, concluding sentence, name. Right? I've also given the mark scheme. Introduction, remember, you have 2 marks. Objectives, you have 2 marks. Measures, you've got 4 marks. And for linguistic ability, you get 2 marks, 10 marks. Now, if conclusion is not written, you lose a mark. There may not be a mark for conclusion, but if you do not write it, you lose a mark. There is no mark for the title, but I feel you don't write it, you might lose another mark. So why miss the opportunity to get a full 10? Follow the format, write according to how it is designed, and you should get your full 10 out of 10 for your proposal. Got it? All right. Now I have done another, the grammar part of it also. And I've done just some of the rules of grammar, because no point in doing sentences and giving you the answers to it. There are so many sentences over the years, right? Some basic rules about, from grammar which you need to know when it comes to attempting your ISC grammar. The first, of course, very common is as soon as and changing to no sooner, right? So as soon as the bell rings, the children run out to play, right? So now if you change it to begin with no sooner does the bell ring than the children run out to play. Very simple. No sooner than. Do not forget to use than. Now suppose the rings was rang. Yes, then what happens? And the rings is ran and the run is ran. So if the sentence is as soon as the bell rang, the children ran out to play. Suppose that is the sentence. Then what happens? No sooner did, does becomes did. So no sooner did. So when rang is there, it becomes did. So no sooner did the bell ring than the children ran out to play. This doesn't change. Ran remain. Even if it is run or it remains, ran out to play. Got it? Now suppose rings had become had rung. As soon as the bell had rung, the children ran out to play. That is same, ran out. If it is had rung, then you write what does no sooner had the bell rung than the children ran out to play. Got it? Then the children ran out to play. So if it is rings, then it is no sooner does the bell ring. If it is rang, then no sooner did the bell ring. And if it is had rung, no sooner had the bell rung. Got it? Clear? And subsequently, run becomes, when it is ran, it keeps to ran, and ran keeps to ran. Here, run keeps to run. No change. But remember, this than is very important. Clear? All right, the next. The scenery is breathtaking. This is the use of exclamation mark. How breathtaking the scenery is. Okay, and you end with an exclamation mark. So, alas, we fell through and were lost forever. Exclamation mark. Hurrah, we have won the race. Exclamation mark. Yes, hurrah, the race was won. Also, exclamation mark. Got it? So wherever it is a expression of wonder, surprise, or sudden shock, comes with an exclamation mark. Be careful. Yeah. Here, of course, how is not a question word. It is expressing the beauty, right? If it's a question mark, then it becomes a question mark. Okay. Next, Sunita is the best debater in our team. You know, the degrees of comparison. You have questions. And most of the time, you'll find it begins with no other. And whenever you have no other, you know it is a positive degree of comparison. That means no other debater in our team is as good as Sunita. Okay. Very few members of our team is as good as Sunita. So most of the time you get no other, which you know has to be changed into a positive degree. Many times students are, how do we know which degree to change? You see no other, you know it's a positive degree. Suppose you get a sentence, no other debater in our team is as good as Sunita, and you begin with Sunita. So you either change it to, so if it's a superlative, then Sunita is the best debater in our team. Suppose you write Sunita is better than most of the other debaters in our team. It's too complicated. It won't be wrong, but it's always best to make it into a superlative unless the sentence is very different. Yes. So that's why I've given you, in case it's very few, and is Sunita is one of the best debaters in our team. Sorry, I wrote most. It should be the best debater in our team. So very clear-cut instructions are given. Check the opening words. You will know the difference, right? All right. Not only and but also. Not only did he score a century, but also took 3 important wickets. Okay. Not only did he score a century, but also took 3 important wickets. Change will be using besides. So besides scoring a century, he took 3 important wickets. I've written also and I circled it. Now, this is wrong. Many of you I've seen write also. Remember, besides means there is something else. It includes the meaning also. Besides, there is something else. So, do not use also. Never use also with besides. Remember that. Okay. Next, frequently comes, as soon as she reached home, she learnt that she had to leave for Oxford. Begin with hardly. With hardly, what do you have? When. Hardly had she reached home when she learned that she had to leave for Oxford. So with hardly, you have when. With no sooner, you have than. Yes. With besides, you just have a comma, you don't use also. Not only, you have but also. Right? Got it? Alright. Now there are some other rules which you need to know. Though and although can be used interchangeably. I mean, many a time, when do we use though, when do we use although? It can be used interchangeably. It is not a mistake, right? Despite and in spite. You never use a preposition after despite. Despite of the rain. No, wrong. Despite the rain. Despite means what? In spite of. So despite means in spite of. So it includes of in its word. So despite the rain, comma, we went for the show. In spite of the rain, comma, we went for the show. So remember that. Despite, you do not use of, because despite means in spite of. Clear? Okay. Something about direct and indirect speech which you need to change. You know, when you change from a direct to an indirect, can becomes could, may becomes might. My father said, comma, open inverted commas, you may go for the movie tonight. Change into indirect. My father said that he might go for the movie that night. Because tonight, tonight becomes that night. So the change from direct to indirect, these are rules which you need to know. Must becomes had to or would have to. Yes. Now becomes then. Here becomes there. She said, come here. She asked me to go there. Come becomes go. Remember that. Yes. Today becomes that day. Tomorrow becomes the next day. Yesterday becomes the previous day. You don't, in indirect, you don't write today, tomorrow, yesterday. You write that day, this, the next day, or the previous day, or the day after, or the day before. You can write that also. Correct. This becomes that. He told me, in order to take this, he asked me to take that. Clear? Ago becomes before. Tonight is that night. Come becomes go. Hither becomes thither. And hence becomes thence. These are some of the rules when you're changing from direct to indirect. So, we have done a few rules of grammar. We have done some of the sentences. We have done the proposal, how to write a proposal, and the format. You have to be careful, especially with the mark scheme. And I hope this has been of help. I shall probably go back to literature because I have decided to move on to poetry next. So essay questions from poetry and how to attempt it. And then again, I will be going back to one or two questions of, I'm going back to comprehension after this, yes, from the language, first poetry, and then I'll move to comprehension. So I will do it alternatively, alternate weeks. I will plan it so that it becomes interesting for you. So I should complete it by this month, and you'll be in time to practice for your board exams. And you're going to have exams, I guess, around summertime. So there is a lot of time to prepare, right? So take care, stay safe, and good night. Bye for now.